Hi and welcome to a new Plugin Guru video. My name is John Skippy Limcool. This is a patch walkthrough for the patches and the multis found in Signs of Life. 226 patches, 20 multis, 123 samples. Really fun, inspiring patches. All of them powered by Mother Nature. Right? So I'm going to show you from the very beginning. This starts way down here with the Z patches. And it starts in Costa Rica on the Caribbean side by the ocean. Last year for 15 days, I was in Costa Rica. Took my daughter, incredibly nice trip. We were in 3 basic locations in Costa Rica, I guess you could call. The Caribbean side, in the mountains, and then on the Pacific side. And the whole way through the entire trip, I had with me my trusty, lovely Tascam DR100 Mark III. And it records really nicely. It's got a limiter, so if the sounds get too hot, it still kept the body of the sound without it being broken up and distorted. And I recorded at 192 kilohertz, 24 bits, so the resolution was really high, which means any of these samples, if you play them down low, becomes this other world. But it's beautiful. And because the way we have this patch is set up, there's 4 MIDI CCs. So you can take them all sorts of cool places, right? So I recorded everywhere we went. When I was on a hike and these birds got angry because someone was trying to steal their eggs, I was there recording it. They were really unhappy with whoever was trying to take the eggs. We had the dueling crickets. And if you go over here to the main page, I put comments in with basically what I heard, what I remembered from this moment. There's a lot of rain. So if you go through the list, you'll see there's all sorts of places where there's rain on the house. There's waterfalls. The night before we took off for Costa Rica, we had to stay in Los Angeles. The hotel was right under the airport runway. So I recorded these. These are great to play chords. I use these in transition effects up here all the time. Up here are effects. If we go to actually BPM effect, where is it? BPM effects, here we go. This one is really cool. And it's timed exactly 4 measures, 16 beats, and then goes away. But that's using the jet. I layered it, and it's slowly going out of tune, so you get that jet stream flange. Right? So that's in the library. But all these sound effects, these are the DNA that started this whole thing. But a lot of times you'll see there's libraries like this you can buy of environments and ambiences and stuff like that. And they're great, but I wanted to do far more than that. This was just the start. The idea was then to come home, and I did, and spent the last 6 months or so after I got home feeding these into various plugins, effects, through the modular, through convolution reverb mixes with sounds. And I made all these things called the Z pads. So I'll show you a couple more of these other sounds, because there's so many just beautiful moments. I mean, it's such a great trip. But because Costa Rica doesn't have a lot of people, there's cars in some areas, but where we were, there weren't that many cars, no airplanes flying overhead. So it's pristine. It's just beautiful. So like the soft rain, you could just use these to write ballads too. You know? Go like that, then on another track, play guitar, play piano, something like that. In fact, you could do that in Omnisphere really quick. If you went over here to multi to live and turn this on and go to patch 2, let's go to Keyscape and let's choose one of the really cinematic, lush, dreamy wash. And we go to multi, we go to this, and we hit latch. So I have the rain on latch. And then if I go to part 3, I could go here. I have some really cool guitars and things in the patches, right? So if we go here to guitars, Costa Rica Dreaming. And then if I just change to this, and hit latch, and I could just keep building all day long. Go to part 4. Let's say we want to have like one of these cool basses. Little bit, go back to live and latch that. So it's very easy to get carried away and start building things. Right? So that's kind of the fun with Omnisphere and with these libraries, is that you can do all sorts of things like this just very, very quickly. If you don't know live mode, just turn on the live mode button and now play between whatever is highlighted will play. And if you hit latch, then it will hold whatever you were holding down until you hit latch again for it to stop. Okay. So sorry for that impromptu, but I wanted to show you how you can use these sounds to have like hours and hours of fun. And all of a sudden you feel like you're in Costa Rica or some natural environment somewhere in the world, you know? So the Z patches with the environment mean they're environmental. The Z patches with pad, this is where I came home and I combined these with synth sounds, with other effects, with plugins, all that kind of stuff, and created cool new sounds. These are only samples. There's no programming to this. The filter's open so you can close it. And if you use the 4 MIDI CCs, you can get all sorts of crazy stuff to go on. But they're not put into a programmed setting to be like a bass where this is an element. That's what you find at the beginning of this library in the A through Z area here with these library sounds that don't have a Z. If they have a Z, then these are the core sounds that are in the library. But these are just the raw sounds, the raw samples, okay? So these go all over the place. Effecty, weird things. So you can play it in all sorts of cool ways. Insane Rain, Dark Dreams. And if you go to the amp and you just change the attack, and let's have it start later. If you want to make it a plucky kind of sound, just bring up just the release so you have a little bit more of a bell. Right? So it's very easy to get these to be used in other places beyond just pads, which I'll show you in a minute when we get to the actual library of programmed sounds. Okay, so here's some of the models I used. This is using it's using the Shimmer Verb. It's using Molecular from Native Instruments. And it's a rainstorm or the echo stream. This would be Echo Cantalis Waterfall. So it's really cool. Right? Other engines, as I called them, would give us things like the... There's another one where it brings fast attack, short release. Kind of trumpety, stuff like that. Rain pads. So a whole gambit of synthesizer sounds, but you hear Mother Nature in them, right? And then about 3 months before this library came out, I like to do this where I send just a small selection. There's 123 samples. I think I included like 20 in a little bonus library where it's just those sounds, and then people would make patches that are Plugin Guru customers. That I do a live stream every Saturday. I have a pretty active group of people that like to actually program. And so I like to get them involved and get them to be a part of the library. As I've mentioned many times, other people's perspective on the same sounds will make completely different sounds. And Omnisphere is flexible enough that people can fully realize this idea that they have. And it's pretty crazy when you start hearing these. So when you look at these, you'll see initials at the ends of the names. These initials correspond with these different people that all made patches that are in the library. Now, if you go to the bonus library right here, there's even more people that are a part of that list. Not everybody that did that, not all their patches got put into the final, but all of their patches are still interesting and are all included in this free bonus library that comes with this library. And this is everybody's patches, untouched by me. And then I would select the patches from this set that I liked, and then I would basically collaborate and modify them and change things to make it a little bit more towards where I envisioned it could be taken. So you have both the originals and you have the full library of this. Also, there's a little bonus library I'm working on called Radioactive. That will come out July 1st. And this is I just started it. I just finished watching the Chernobyl miniseries. And so I got all inspired by kind of really weird sounds. So I'm going to make a lot of sounds, pads that are broken, pitchy, for radioactive, cinematic, your dog glows kind of sounds. So that's coming out July 1st. But in the full library, you have basses, you have over 60 ARP and BPM patches, which is really cool, including drum loops. I'll show you those in a minute. Cool effects, cool guitars, keys, leads, pads, plucks, and synths, textures, vox. So there's a whole lot to this library. All of them, except for one that I know of off the top of my head, all of them use, there has to be at least one of the 4 layers that is a Signs of Life sample, and it has to be an important part of the sound. So you'll see it's very creative how some people found ways to use it. So like you go, I don't hear environmental, but if you turn off the synth waveform, you definitely do. I just enveloped it. Hear the bugs and everything? Put it with the bass. Environmental make really cool noise sources to layer with synth waveforms and other things. Here's a cool patch where actually turn off the effects, turn off the other waveforms. And this is one of those pad sounds where there's the crickets and stuff combined with the pad. Tucked into this. So it's really cool. Sidechain version. right? Broken bass. Cool for if you like to do like Dead Can Dance kind of things. Get some percussion going over the top of this. It's beautiful. Quiet plays. Right? Unsettled. Good big cinematic things. Earthly meditation, bell sounds. And again, do you hear crickets? Do you hear bugs? They're in there. Let's turn these off. Let's turn off the effects. Let's turn off the filters. Yeah, they're in there. You can hear them in there in the background, right? They've been combined with synth sounds because these are pads. But they're definitely in there. This is the one that doesn't. And I'll tell you the story behind this. I was making a multi where I wanted to have like a steel drum thing. And I had a really cool pad. It's got the environmental sounds going, and I just wanted the steel drum. So I just programmed this. I didn't need to add any more crickets and stuff. So that is all by itself without environmental. Right? Okay, BPM, we went kind of crazy. There's here's the shy version. Okay. Bats in the Cave. This is one using the new art features inside of Omnisphere 2.6. So I can play chords and have single lines at the same time. Okay, Fancy Boing. Cool. Frantic Nights. Kaleidoscope. Speed it up a little bit. Lutherian Sync. This one using LFOs to change effects, like the reverb mix. It's dry, now it's full. Fun stuff like that. Noodling Planet. This is David Kaufman. David thinks outside of the box. So totally out of the box. Machine Gel Jaw. Pico. Right? Robo Flies of Costa Rica. This one I should point out. Go to the effects to the master or the common page, and the resonator is a big part of the sound. It has a note here, which is the root pitch. So if you're gonna play an F, change this to F. But if you have it in F and you play it in D, let me change it. See how it works in D now? If I play A, so change this to the key you're going to play in. Otherwise, it won't sound quite right. And maybe you like it if it doesn't sound right, but I think generally you would want it to be in the right key. It will get the right delay, will be set to the right settings for the right notes to make up that scale. All right, stress. Yeah. I keep expecting ABBA to start singing. Here's variation 3, even though there's not a variation 1 and 2. Colorful Life. We're in basses. So it's got the pulsing. It's got a cool sweep at the beginning. Dreams Meet Nature. Here's another David Kaufman patch. So Woody the Woodpecker. Put it with a drum groove though, and it's really cool. Really, really cool. Future Past Yesterday. Now, some of these I created when I was making the multis. And so to do that, I would start with like the drum groove and I would add, say, a bass part. And then I would shape the bass part, program, get it set how I want it. And then eventually when it's all done, save it as a patch. So if you see names that are similar to multi-names, chances are this is a sound that was used inside of a multi. Like if I was to just go, let's go over here to multi-mode to Island Country really quick and say Signs of Life, Island Country right here. I don't think it's 120. I think I need to have it about 85, 90, say 90 beats per minute. So now, so here's the bass line, but it's part of a bigger picture. Okay, so when you see the name, just realize that for some of these, they're designed to be put into a bigger picture. They're all designed to be put into bigger pictures, but some of them I made the picture, or one version of what the picture could be like, I guess I should say. So some of these like that, if I go to the Island Country, when you first heard that, you probably thought a whole different place that it could go than where it ended up being used in the multi. That's why it's cool to play with them in the program mode, and then check them out in multi-mode. See, like, it's like... Like, how would that be used in the multi? Let's load up the multi and find out. Right? So where you heard it and then where it ends up being used and how it ends up being used, it's useful for lots of different things beyond what it ends up being in the multi, because you've heard something differently than that, I'm sure, when I first played the patch. So just to give you an idea, I'm not going to do this to everyone, but to those two, just to give you an idea of the multis go really cool places. Power of the Hunter is another bass from a multi. Right? Solitude. This up a little bit. Definitely designed more for techno. All right, so you get the idea. The Rain comes both as bold and calm. Right? As you heard in the multis, you heard drums, right? That's because as a bonus, I decided I wanted to further picture this vision I have in my head for these sounds. I wanted to make the drums to support that. So I made drum loops. And I imported them into Omnisphere. Airwave for Airwave Volume 3 came up with the concept for this to work, using the actual granular engine to sync drum loops in Omnisphere. So we can program over the top of it. You can take these all sorts of places with the 4 MIDI CCs that we programmed into most patches in this library. By the way, if you don't know about ModMate, ModMate is really cool in that you don't have to have hardware set up to MIDI CCs 1, 2, 4, 67. If you can do that, it's great to have. I've got a Native Instruments Jam over here, which is great for doing this type of stuff. But if you don't, this is a free MIDI effect that we provide on my website that you can download for free. And you've got the ability to automate right here. The other thing that's cool right? The other thing that's really cool is if you have a mod wheel, most everybody on your hardware has a mod wheel. With this, you can quickly click these little boxes, and I have now joined all 4 MIDI CCs to my mod wheels. It's changing all 4 MIDI CCs at once, just with my mod wheel. So it's a really handy, free little utility. You can right-click and change this to any of 127 MIDI CCs, both for the input, for viewing, for it to see what's coming in, and then the output can be MIDI CC1, or you can reroute it to be something else. So it can do rerouting. Very complex, very tricky little thing, simple to use, and free. So that's on the website, pluginguru.com. If you want that, just hit the little link for software from the list of categories of sounds I provide. Here, check this out. So this is the website. I go like this and I say hide. So if you go over here to software, there's ModMate, and Show MIDI is the keyboard plugin that you're seeing. And if you say show all, then it goes all over the place. Here's all the libraries. And there's tons of libraries. By the way, and here's Show MIDI right here, which can also show you up to 5 MIDI CCs and pitch bend. And again, it's free. These are no charge for these. So these loops, love this one. It's got that anticipated. There's a breakdown version. By the way, if you go to the actual library you've downloaded from my site after you've bought it, thank you for buying it, not stealing it. You're awesome. Then you also have the ability to play also with even more loops, because instead of the 10 loops that are in Omnisphere, there's actually 29 loops. And so this is balance chair, right? Balance chair. There's just bass drum and tambourine, 2 breakdowns, full mix, small mix. In Omnisphere, I only included the breakdown and the full mix. Oh, wait. Right? So be aware that those exist. And I'll show you in a minute. There's another cool bonus in this library in that not only did I include the drum loops, but I also included the drum hits, the individual hits that I made to make the loops. The way I designed it was so that the samples would be able to be pulled out as individual hits. And here they are. So, and then there's actually preset files for Native Instruments Contact 4, for Super Macho drums, if you own Super Macho drums, and for EXS24. And if you don't, the drum hits are numbered sequentially. So you just map them from C2 up to the keyboard. And now the MIDI files that are found right here are the bonus MIDI files. These are the 5 groove MIDI files. All the parts are there. You can mute out parts, delete the kicks and snares if you want to do breakdowns and stuff like that for yourself. But those are included in this library, as well as the Signs of Life and the bonus, all the patches that everybody made. Those are all there in the library. So that's the whole encapsulation. And no matter when you buy the library, those will be included. I'm not going to cut off after a certain time that they go away or something like that. That's not nice. So there's other grooves, Bossa Bossa. Then a breakdown. Island Country, or Island Vacation. Get the idea, right? Deep Thoughts. These are the setups with the EQ and stuff that's a little different than the original for the actual multi. So I included those. Tico is fun. I should show the Tico multi, shouldn't I? Because this one takes 4 patches. Tico Psycho Bongos. Right? Drums, and then there's a Tico, I think I called it synth. Right. So what would happen if we put all 4 of those together? Let's speed it up. Here's Tico kick and bass again at 120. That's what it sounds. Go over here to multi-mode and we say, Tico, do your thing. Tico likes to dance. So it's crazy stuff. Initialize and get back to the patches. So Tico, that's using actually drum samples, because some of those drum hits from the drum hits that I showed you in the bonus library, those are included inside of Omnisphere in some cases for some of the patches and multis to work. So it's a big library with a whole lot of layers to it. It's not just a single layer cake, right? So all that stuff's going on. Then we get to the BPM. Oh, come back here. Effects. Here's that upstream patch I showed. And it goes for 16 minutes and drops off the earth. If you go down here to the Z environmental stuff, there's an angry cow. Where is she at? Oh, this is Dominical mountain cow. She needs to be milked. And she was letting us know. I love this last one. Check this out. Like she burped or something like that. Well, I took this and I put it in space. So you now have this cool. That cow is going through a ring modulator and other effects. So it's not just a cow. Okay, Lost in Dystopia is just out there. Just takes off on its own. You play a note, it doesn't start. It's like, no, I'll start when I want. Okay. Happy Island Duo. This is this guitar patch. It's using the Martin acoustic that's built into Omnisphere and the Columbus harmonics using the arpeggiator. So this is the second patch that doesn't have any environmental sounds in it. The reason is because I wanted this component to be really pure. Just the fretted instruments. If I would have had something from the environmentals, then it would have been more of a noise type of a thing. But when this gets used in the multi, Island Country Road, it's the guitar stands out because it is just guitar, but it has a pad beneath it that's got the environmental stuff. Right? But I wanted to... Right? That's got the environmental stuff, and it's a pad, and it's got all that kind of cool stuff going on. But I wanted the guitar part to be pure. So it's over here in the patches, just as its own self. So BPM, guitar. Oh, yeah, come back here. Okay. Then there's all sorts of cool pads. And this is one of those where you can go searching around if you want. Hit the little magnifying glass and here under mod 4. And you can change these. Right, click make this a 4. You can make it anything you want, but the starting point is a lot simpler than. Now, if you wanted some hits, like where the snare is, I have it up. Now there's no snare. Very easy to modify these. These are designed as pieces of clay that are at least taken into a certain direction and finalized by someone that knows. I've been doing this for a long time. But you can modify these and change them and personalize them. That's what I hope you do with these. Okay, so. So this is 4 layers. If we wanted to pull it apart, we could figure out what's going on. At the Chocolate Factory. Okay. Attention, please. Slow it down. Okay, colorful life pulse. And some of these, let's see if this is one of those. Yes, this is one where if you don't have the EQ, one cool thing with Omnisphere is that any parameter, even in the effects, can be automated, including the gain of effects. So I have the high frequency down at 3K, so it's the whole range is pretty much being modified by, let's say show this and mute it. There's a lot of brightness there, right? Well, I just set it up and turned on so that the same mod envelope 4 that's doing the volume pulsing is also changing the EQ gain. Here's without it. It doesn't cut anywhere near. And if I didn't want quite so much gain, just bring this up. So it's just the high-end stuff. Right? So you get the idea. There's so much flexibility and fun and control to do stuff like that. It's really unique. You can't do that with a lot of other synthesizers. So that's why we like Omnisphere so much. There's another one using the arpeggiator, doing different inversions and versions of voicings. Like to do that actually, and if you wanted to, you could capture and drag this over as a MIDI file to see what it is, and you'd go, wow, that's a lot of notes I'm playing, just from playing one chord. So here's Moving the Rainforest. Another one where the mod envelope, again, you could change these up. Right? So you can do all sorts of things to personalize these. Jungle Club. Whispering to Us. Okay, and then Talking to Us is much louder. Just to the noises. Okay, Rain Party. Okay, Smashed Rasta. And that type of pulsing with that spacing means you could speed it up pretty easily. So it's great for dance. Pad Stolcis. Can I jam with you? We did this in a live stream like 3-4 weeks ago. Okay, epicness. Fun stuff. It goes on and on. That slowly comes down. Here's that Tico effects and swells. This is cool because it's using loops for the amp envelopes for these guys. And pulsing LFOs for things, for volumes, to make that work. Cool. Rainmaker. You hear the rain, all sorts of stuff in there, right? So that's what's fun. This is a whole Mother Nature inspired library. But it works for all sorts of genres. It's chill, ambient, dance, EDM. Put that in a house track really easily. Here's a one crash cymbal. It's got infects and bugs in the fade out tail. Okay. Atlantis Orchestra. This is using the ARP as a one shot. Here, instead of looping, if it was looping, it'd be insane. Right? But once just means it goes through it, and it's done. Banger. Ow. Dream Sweep Jet. This is another one using the jet takeoff. Cool for transitions, starting a song, ending a song. Sweeps before a cymbal in the middle of a song. Environment of the Hunter. So this has effects and stuff on top of the effects of the environment. Final hit. Okay, intensity of the hunter. Keeps going. Okay, Costa Rica Dreaming. So you have environmental sounds and guitar. Flamenco Dreams. Rain on My Oil Can guitar has a cool kind of few tricks. It's got Thunder Down Low guitar. So when you need thunder, you just hit down low C. But up above it's soft rain and a unique guitar sound. And so I'm using bias is the trick. Using bias to map it so that the thunder is just down on the low area. Guitar Sometimes Dreams Happen. All right. Keys of Gold. Okay, Mountain Winds. Kind of a synthy keyboard kind of thing. Perk Roads. So here's Rain Piano. It's got a cool quality to it. No piano. It's using metal pipe as the filter, which does some cool things. Here's some cool leads. Spirit of the Hunter is in one of the multis. Okay, now we have a ton of pads. Oh my gosh. Just fun stuff. Church is on. Cinemagic. Let's see. Rather carried away with the 4 cc's if you want. Cool. Dreams in Flight. So there's Rot. This is that airplane taking off. Now used in a pad. Here's Eno's Lair. Right? Okay. Evolutionary Species. So many pads. My goodness. Gentle Winds. So here's Iceland. Sparse. Because granular's on. Okay. In the Sun. Orca's Lament. Salish Sea Synth. Space Grains. Very cool. Stormy Pan Flute actually has a bonus Mega Magic Winds patch. I decided to give you guys a bonus. This is a pan flute sample from Mega Magic Bells and Winds, but it works nicely with these environmental sounds, so I was like, why not? The World at War. Very cool. And then Violin Rains. Huge pad. Okay. One more final pad. Swirling bugs. Love it. Here we got some Plex. And what's fun with this, you could go to this and easily go, let's say, go sharing on the sound browsers page, choose Signs of Life, and go through all the different pad sounds that are here. So, get different kinds of. Compared to where we started. Right? Another pluck. Steel drum light. Synth waveforms and environmental sounds. For a steel drum kind of vibe. Strings. And again, this is slow attack, but you can speed it up. Okay, and Lovely Devotion. Synthy stuff. Since 2.6 has the new D50 samples, this one kind of goes crazy. I think it's using Memory Moog and 2 D50 sounds and crickets. Right? Evolutionary brass. Right? Got to get out of here. Jungle Thriller. Nice big sound. Cool. Rain Clouds Falling. And version 2. Sawtooth Waterfall. Okay, and Smart Partials. And then Tico Power Player. There's another bonus. This has a Mega Magic pad sound included. So 2 bonus samples from other libraries included for fun. There's Dark Dusk. Korova Velocat. This is one that you have to hold down to appreciate. Just holding down one note. Definitely hear the angry birds in there. They're crazy. This goes on and on and on. Water in the Ear. Then Nature Choir. So you hear nature, you got a choir. So that's the patches. 236 patches. I'm going to take a short break and then I'll show you multis, okay? Be right back. Okay, let's take a look at multis. Some of these took days to make, just so you know. There's 20 of them. These are, especially when you get to the rhythmic stuff, these take a long time to put together. This is not just something put together at the last minute. Some of these, the layers and stuff, those are done pretty quickly. But when we get to the BPM split stuff, you'll see. I really wanted to make sure that what I pictured in my head for being the library's vibe was put into presentation in these multis, okay? Now, these are the BPM layers. You can hit stack at any time, of course, to see what is going on, because up to 8 patches can be used in a multi. So when you get to some of these other ones, things get carried away in some cases as far as to what is happening, how the layout is, what they're doing. It's different from multi to multi. So you can look here to see what's going on. The other thing is these are tempo based when it says BPM, which means at 125 beats per minute. They play. If I slow it down, I mean, they're just begging to be written and put into something. So, and again, the 4 MIDI CCs are really important here. And usually number 67 is the effects. And a lot of times I'm using the auxiliary synths in the patches, which means that the effects come up, you change the sound to be bright, you make the effects go down. It doesn't kill the effect, it lets it ring out, which is really cool. So make sure that you have either hardware set up for these 4 MIDI CCs, or you're using something like ModMate, so that you can go over here and bring up the effects. Right? When you get to these really big groove things where there's a whole lot going on, let me just play one for a second. Right? All sorts of things are happening. Hear how the drums keep echoing and ringing out? So you'll find you'll do tricks. There's all sorts of things you can do that are really fun. It's fun to be creative and not just have the mod wheel be the only thing you have to work with. Oh, we'll show you that in a minute. Okay, so there's other layers. This is pretty. Now this is the guitar layers that are found inside of this. But with this, you have a bass in the left hand. So Island Layers is just the guitar and the pad, the whole keyboard. Right? Which you can't do when you're playing it here. I mean, you do that and you have a bass sound and a drums. But you don't have that when you play Island Layers by itself as just a layer. Please hurry up. Let's start it at 125. And right? So again, but watch this. If you take Please Hurry Up and instead, let's say 85 beats per minute and whole different vibe. Do a cool trap groove. I mean, there's all sorts of places you can take this. Planet Whisperer. Hear the environmentals. Just huge. Very colorful life. Which is found down here as a multi with drums and everything, but this is just the so you got a rhythmic thing and you got a steel drummy kind of. Waiting for the Beauty. It's another one that's beautiful. Isn't that nice? Mod wheel up. Gives you a whole different vibe. The low end goes away. Then it comes back in if you want it to. Okay. Now the BPM splits. The idea here is drum groove on low C. Speed this up a little bit. Okay. Bass sound above that. And then the guitar layer I showed you earlier. Right? Okay. So these are for idea building, songwriting. You can sit and have an idea like and sing on the top of this. And build up songs. Oh, it's just so fun. If you want to take these even farther, you can look at the mixer and BPM Guitar Duos patch number 3. So you click 3. You can go to this guitar sound and instead of the Martin, type in Strat. And the JC120 Strat shows up. Now you have to make it fit, right? So for this to work, I turn it down. Maybe I'd put it through a chorus. So you go to the B layer, go to modulation, add chorus, lush, a little faster. Or you could go, there's a whole bunch of guitars because Spectrasonics made a library called Hans Zimmer guitars that they released. That was actually originally made for Hans Zimmer, and then they released it through Spectrasonics as an audio CD. This is like, what, 15 years ago or more? Let's see, Martin. There's a Martin acoustic that's nice. There's Staccato from Trilogy. Now I have Trilogy loaded, so that's from the base Trilogy Trillion libraries. But you can go through, there's a whole lot of guitars. You could replace parts pretty easy, as you can see, right? Parallax Formula is another one that's really cool. It's a pad. And this is available. Down here is just a pad, the Parallax pad, the whole range. So it's this big guy, and then this cool falling resonant sound. But Parallax Formula has it with drums. And bass. And effects. Right? Quiet Places. This is lovely. Songwriting for days. Now, if you have other libraries of mine or Keyscape or so forth, if you go to part 1, you could go to Keyscape. You could say, call up one of the pianos and if you want to be an octave lower, close this display, go to main page, 10 octave. Right? So you can replace the sounds all you want. The drums in this case, by the way, these are using those samples, not a loop. It's using a kick and it's using a bongo and then a shaker, just for simple groove. Okay. The Vision Hunter is another one that's got all sorts of cool stuff going on. The drum loop in this case. With program, actually, no, this is not a drum loop. This is another one where I programmed it. This has this cool noise snap that's going through the filter without it. Love that. This has the environmental with effects, but it's kind of like a nature but processed. It's got a cool effect. And then when you're ready, you let up and it's gonna fall down in pitch. And off you go. Again, the 4 cc's. So you can do all sorts of cool transitions. Tico likes to dance. This one needs to be a little bit faster because it's got all sorts of dancey. He wants to dance, right? Take these all out of the place. So fun. Tribal Revival. I'm going to show you this and I'll do it now. So here is Tribal Revival. And I had 105 beats per minute. Right? So check this out. We did this in last Saturday's live stream. Let me mute all these guys. Mute. And I'm going to turn off the EQ so you can hear what I originally started with. I played this in real time. This is all just Omnisphere playing the Tribal Revival. Like if I was to stop this and go to Omnisphere, I had by hitting start and stop at the right time, and I went in the live stream, we fixed all the parts up, but you can see, right? Well, I added a high pass filter, killing anything below 100 hertz so that the drums would have no more like thumpy kick. Here's without it. Here's the low end, and it's gone. And then I added a new bass line from Omnisphere, actually from the Signs of Life library. I just took a different bass sound, bottomless sidechained, and let's add that. So I played this part in. So it's a custom bass line to kind of doubling what was a bass line in the first place, right? Then I added 2 drum loops. Then I took a Spire synth sound. Just filling holes with that, right? And that lead sound is from our Exosun Future X trance dance library of really cool. All 4 MIDI controllers, the knobs here are assigned on all the patches. It's really cool. Then I added a guitar loop. And then I went to Contact, and then I went to Super Macho Drums, which is the drum loop library that's available at my site. And I added a drum kit on top of the drum loops, on top of the drum from Omnisphere to give it more focus. I think it's just a kick. It's adding that kick. So it all started from this. So I started with an idea in Omnisphere, and then I added elements to it, and I ended up with something far more professional produced. Right? So these multis are able to be taken all sorts of places. If you don't like the melody of this, it's really easy to just go to that bass line. Let's go over here. There's actually 2 parts kind of playing together. But the big one is right here. And if you don't like the melody, go doom, doom. Let's say +7. Let's say a couple notes. Let's transpose this one up. So it's really easy to modify these to make them your own idea and then build a production around them. That's what they're for. There's so many places to take these. So I haven't really dived that deep into these, but I should show you more information. I'm going to do a separate video showing some of this stuff because you can really take them out if you want to. And some people do. I've heard some amazing tracks where you wouldn't hear or know that they started with one of these multis. I have a number of libraries that do this. There's OMG Drums Volume 1, OMG Drums Volume 2, OMG Urban Remix. So you can take these quite a ways out from where it starts. But the starting place is really nice too. Oh, that's right. This is actually time to... So this jet stream is timed to be 4 measures and then it goes away. So you can either have it just like that, or if you hold it down, 3, 2, 3, 1, 2. And it's tempo locked. So if you change the tempo, it's still 4 measures. Really cool. Very deep thoughts. Slow it down a little bit. Jets. But it doesn't have the tape stream, so it's a little bit more subtle. Okay, so you get the idea. So those took so long. I had to make the drum loops, get them. I actually had to do them a couple times to get them mixed just right to fit the mix with everything else, but it's worth it. Worth it to put the time in. Elevate, these are pads. So you can go to stack mode and see. Listen to that. Just love that. Can go insane. Jungle Home by the River. So anyway, Quiet Places and Guitar Dreams. It's a gift. I don't know how to place it because I play things, I make sounds, and even when I play them, I go, oh. So fun to play. And it's fun, it's a collaboration with someone else's patch. That's really great, you know? Other pads, Parallax pad. I showed you this earlier. Quiet Places also comes from a split. But this is the split, so the bass is there. And you can play low C and no drums take off. And then I also did very deep thoughts as a... Again, the computer's gonna poop out, gotta be careful. So, that's this library. I've had a number of people say they think this is the best library I've made to date, and I tend to agree. It's definitely the one that's taken the most time, and it's also one that kind of has the most layers to it. So, really happy with this work. Very proud of it. Hope you enjoyed this. Hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you learned a few things, got inspired along the way. That's kind of what we're all about. See you in the next video, okay? See ya.